What's up, guys? It's Missy. I'm back with another SimCity Buildit video. And we're going to be talking about the contest of mayors and a couple of really important things that you guys need to know. So a lot of you guys have been struggling in a lot of ways, and I've been trying to rack my brain to help you. So there's a couple of issues or things that need addressed here. And the very first thing is that you guys need to know what's going on in your game to make it to make the decisions fit your current situation. For instance, if I look at a list and I grade a list based on if the choice was right or wrong, I cannot accurately grade that list without knowing what's going on in the person's game. Not just setting the scene, but for instance, last week, or well, not really last week, yesterday or the day before, when I put out the Sydney's video on his choices when he graduated contest to mayor's training, I had a couple of screenshots set aside that I pulled out for you guys, and I had shown you, this wouldn't normally be the choice, so we have to ask ourselves what's going on in his game to make him choose this. And I was able to explain it because I trained him to think like me. So I know what I would have done under those circumstances, and I was able to say, okay, this must be what happened here is maybe the monster wasn't there, or he was prepping and waiting on glass or whatever. Before making the video, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't a mistake. So I went to him and I asked him what was going on for these three particular decisions. And he confirmed all three of those particular decisions and why he did what he did. And that gave me the green light to say, okay, then that was the correct choice. So a lot of people have been having issues with the pace in which they are doing the contest of mayor's tasks, the ability, and process of elimination. Okay, so we're going to talk about all three of those things in this video. This is a very important video, so sit up straight. Pay attention. Okay, first off, when you are considering a task, you need to look at risk versus reward. Okay, now I've told you guys this many times in my videos, and I don't think it's really sunk in how to apply that knowledge. So if you need to take notes or whatever, do it. But I'm going to be putting together a document that has all this information in the document, kind of like my contest to mayor's guide, but it might take me a little bit to get it put together. Either way, it's going to get done. But the rule of thumb here is to know the information that you need to know about each and every task. For instance, beach tasks. What do you need to know about those? There's a rule to every task. Upgrade tasks, what do you need to know about those? And I'm going to let you know ahead of time that this particular video, it's most and some of what I'm saying here applies to all players. But the majority of my contest to mayor's videos apply to level 24 and below players. People that actually have a good shot at winning the contest without spending their life savings and an arm and a leg just to get to the top of the leaderboard to still lose. So if you've been watching my videos as a high level player trying to apply, this knowledge, no, that's not how it works. A lot of this stuff, yes, still applies, but high level CoM is a little different. And I have videos on high level contest to mayors. Okay, so first off, I'm going to show you what sparked this video. And this is one of my trainees' screenshots here. So he has about 6 tickets remaining. And these are his options. So we're going to go through these here, and I'm going to explain how to come to the conclusion as to what is the best method here. Now, at the time of this, he did not have the lawn chairs. He had a Paris assignment for 800. So the lawn chairs are non-existent, okay? I had taken the wrong screenshot, but it's okay. So essentially, pretend the lawn chairs are not there. He has a 1300 techs, which is worth 1,320 on the textiles. Now, because he's a level 24 player, he can only do 40 textiles at a time. Okay, so that's what we know. So we're looking at 1 round of text. That's 90 minutes. Okay. Now he's got an upgrade Latin for 3,600. Now, most of the time you would cancel this, right? So is the play here to cancel, yes or no? How many of you said yes? And if you said yes, you are incorrect. No, you would not cancel. Why? Tasks remaining. He has way too little tasks remaining to risk a cancellation. He still technically has another 3K spot that could pop up. So right now, it would be way too risky. If he cancels this, it drops even more points. It wastes a ticket. He has very little tasks remaining, and it could come right back. And if it does, even if it comes back with a lower value, that doesn't do him any good. He's almost out of tasks. So what's the point? So right here, that method that we just used, what I just discussed, that is the risk versus reward method. Okay? You're going to use that method every time that you get stuck in a situation where the choice is not an obvious choice. What I've noticed with a lot of people is when it comes to obvious choices, people are pretty good at it. They're like, okay, well, it's a 3K VU. That's an obvious choice, right? I mean, why wouldn't you do a 3K VU? You'd have to be a fool. I mean, if you had a 3K VU and a 3K war deliveries and war was about to end, then you would do the war deliveries, right? But if you're somebody who's just doing whatever, whenever, however, and not looking to see what's going on in your game, you're going to have real problems. Now, we know that canceling that is out, so we're going to cross that off the list. That's definitely no good. The upgrade Paris, well, if we're not going to cancel a 3K upgrade, why would we cancel any other upgrade, right? So we're not going to cancel. War is not here. Monster is not here. So the common war attack for 800, that's out. Sugar takes even longer than textiles and is worth the same amount of points. So why would we do sugar over text? That doesn't make sense now, does it? No. Okay, so now that we've established that the only option so far is the textiles, let's keep moving down his list. Okay, now we get to the glass. Now the glass is worth more than the text, but it takes twice as long. So that's out. So we're going to cross that off. Now we have another upgrade, which again, we're not touching any upgrades, so we're going to cross that off. Now we have the chemicals. Now the chemicals has been in his list for a while, but if you look at the amount of chemicals remaining, the amount of chemicals that are needed, it's 55, which is 2 rounds. So he should have prepped the first round, and he would have had the 15 of them done. Okay? Then he would have been able to do he would have been able to leave his factories open all day long, or for the two hours it took. And then he would have been able to do the 40 chemicals. Now, this would have taken 2 hours, not 3 hours, like the textiles, had he prepped them earlier, because they've been there for a while. But how many people would not have done this because they are programmed to think, do not touch chemicals unless it's unless it's 2,000 or higher. Now, I need to clarify a couple of things here. Remember when every time I tell you guys something and I say in rare occurrences, this is one of those rare occurrences. He has no other option. This is his highest, best option with the equal amount of risk. So let's keep looking here. He has an 800 Paris and a 800 Epic. Okay? Now, at this time, the 800 Paris is still in his list. So he had already prepped techs. He made a mistake and he prepped techs over chems because he never prepped the chems because he just assumed that he wasn't going to be doing them. Well, under these circumstances, with the list like this, that should have been on his radar. He should have went, well, I'm left with little to no options here. I'm running out of openings. And if I can at least prep the second half of the chems now, They'll be done. I'll still have factories open just in case anything comes up in the meantime. And at least if I end up having to do it, it's only a 2-hour thing. Now, even if it opens something up, there's like no tasks left. So let's look at the risk versus the reward. They're both factory tasks. Okay. Now, right now, he can get the chems done for 4 hours, but the techs are going to take 3 hours because he didn't pre-prep them. But had he pre-prepped them, it would have been 2 hours on the chems and 90 minutes on the techs. But the chems offer 300 points higher, right? Now, the same amount of risk applies here with the, it could come back. Except for if chems comes back, it has a better chance of coming back worth right around this value, right? So even so, he's not any worse or better off than when he started. But if the sugar comes back and it comes back worth like 2,300 points or higher, then you got real problems, right? So, or not sugar, textiles. So it's a risky play here to do the techs. I would not have done the techs. I would have went and pre-prepped the chemicals forever ago. I would have had the 15 chems done. So make sure that you're prepping the second half of your stuff so you can leave factory slots open. That's one mistake that I wanted to talk to everybody about. When people have, 55 tasks, when you have a remainder over the amount, you have to run 2 rounds, right? So why not run the second round first, leave your factory slots open, and then run the second round next, and then have your downtime. Now, given the fact that he still had 5 tickets remaining, he has very little time left. He has about 20 hours, 10 of which he'll probably be asleep. So he really has probably about 10 hours. And the fact that we're not in war, I advised him to do the 800 Paris. Now, it's worth about 500 to 600 less than the textiles that he had already prepped. He doesn't have time to clear out the techs and make 2 rounds of chems on top of this just to save 300 points. It's not going to make or break him. The competition above him is not that great. So he needs to open something up. So because of what he prepped, I advised him to do the Paris. And he got the lawn chairs in place of the Paris, which he's currently working on because he can at least speed that up with a token. And at least that's a premium task. He can get it done. Now I'm waiting to hear back from him. But I wanted to explain why the chemicals were the right choice under these circumstances. Because most people are under this impression that, hey, I need to avoid chemicals unless they're 2,000 points or higher. So if something's at 1880, would you consider it 2,000? Yeah, probably. If something's at 1950, you would consider it a 2,000 point task. But at what threshold do you consider it not a 2,000 point task? Well, probably right around 1,700 points. Okay, 1,600 to 1,000 to about 1,600 is the breakdown. So when you usually look at your list here, oftentimes what you'll see is that you can have usually up to 2 3K tasks at any one given time, about 4 tasks right around 2,000 points value, and then the rest of them are between 1,000 and 1,600, and then usually, or almost always, you have a task worth 800 or lower, at least one at the bottom of your list. Okay, so it's important that if you're looking at your list and your breakdown is a bunch of factory tasks right around 1,700 points, that's basically your 2,000 point tasks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't say 2,000, but you got to be careful of that. If you are ever in a situation where you have a 2,400 upgrade, a 2,000 upgrade, a 2,000 repair, and then an 1880 glass, you can pretty much count that 1880 glass as one of your 2,000 point spots, right? Okay. If you have a 1770 chems, you can also count that as one of your 2,000 point tasks. But if you have like a 1590 or 1600 or a 1680, those are pretty much the next bracket down. You know, you can pretty much consider you still have a 2000 placement available, right? So anything 1700 or higher, consider to be right around that 2000 point threshold, okay? Meaning it's taking up one of those 4 spots. So if you have 2 spots worth about 3K, those are your top 2 main tasks. And then you have the 4 at 2K. The rest are all below 1600, right? That's usually the breakdown of every list. Now, what you want to do is you want to make sure that what you're trying to do essentially is you're weighing out the risk versus the reward. Take everything that you know about the one task and compare it to the next task. So you start at the top of the list and you start with the highest points value. You pick out the highest points valued task. That's the first thing, okay? Because the idea here is to earn the most amount of points. And then you're going to compare the highest valued task as you go down the list. So so what we did here is we said, okay, the highest valued task is 3600. And we went through that and we were able to eliminate it. Then we went to the next and the next, and we go through every single option, weighing out risk versus reward. And then we make our selection. Okay? So the next thing that I want to talk to people about is when to take a different option because of what's going on in your game. For instance, a lot of players do not think about what are they going to do in the meantime. So you know how you have rotatable tasks and main tasks? A main task is a task that is your next best option, like within the next 1 or 2 tasks. For instance, if you were to see a 3K VU here and a 3K deliveries to Paris, those would be your 2 main tasks, right? Okay. Your rotatable tasks, let's say you had a 1700 lawn chairs. That would be your rotatable task. Now, your off-limits task would be something like an 800 upgrade or a 2000 upgrade, right? That would be I'm not touching that task. Now, what people don't do is they don't look at their rotatable tasks and say, okay, I have some war tasks here that are going to need rotating. And I know that I'm good for the next couple of hours, probably. I know I'm going to be able to clear out this task and that task, and it'll keep me busy for probably 8 hours or so, depending on what I get, of course. But people don't take that into consideration and say, well, if and when this happens, and you know it's going to happen, if you know you're going to have to rotate that at some point in the next 10 hours, and you look at your list and you say, well, I know I'm going to have to rotate this, and my club ends war in 2 hours, but it's not the time to rotate it now, you make the time. Because if you don't rotate it when your club's in war, and it becomes time where you inevitably knew you were going to have to rotate it, and now you can't, you're stuck on downtime or you're stuck doing something else. And that's not good. Always pay attention to the war timer and make sure that you're doing what you need to do. And this happens way more often than you would think. I can't tell you how many of my trainees have like a launch war attack for about 1,000. And it has the ability to open up good stuff, but they don't touch it because they have better tasks. And we're ending war in about an hour. And it's like, you need to get that done. Oh, well, this is better. It's like, yeah, but by looking at your list, we know you only got a couple more tasks left before you're going to have to rotate that. And by then, you're not going to be able to. You're going to have to wait. Oh, it's only 12 hours. No, it's 12 hours for the prep time and 12 hours for the cool down. So it's 24 hours before you'd be able to do anything else. You cannot afford that kind of downtime. So you end up doing something else. And that ends up hurting your score. So taking an opportunity to get that done is a good idea. And if you see an opening to do that, then you take it. You don't want to say, well, I'll wait till last minute and see. Because what ends up usually happening by then is you have high value tasks in your list, and then it ends up kicking you back another low task. So if you don't see anything really good in your list, then would be a good time to rotate it in. Okay? Watch your war timers. Now, the second thing that I need to say about that is if you know that your club only does one war, or if you're in my club and you know that the war is not active on the final day, then you need to consider the contest of mayors over when the second war ends. Seriously. Because if you don't, and what I've noticed a lot of people doing, is they are purposefully not going as quickly as they should or could because they think, well, I have another day. No. Because what's happening to a lot of them is they leave that, they think you have time, but do you really? No, you really don't, because you have 15 tickets plus whatever tasks you have remaining. So you're saying for the next 15 plus tasks, you're confident that you're not going to get any war tasks. And that takes up about 30% of the tasks that you have that are available to you to do. That's crazy. Okay? If you eliminate the fact you can't do upgrades, now you've eliminated doing the monster, the war, and most factory production. What have you left yourself with? Not much. So you got to ask yourself here, is it worth dragging your feet to risk all those tasks you can't do? If you get a 3K war delivery, you can't do it. You have to cancel. If you get any kind of launch attacks without the monster there, you're screwed. And it's not worth it. There's no reason at all why it should take anybody 4 days to complete all their tasks. No reason. There's no reason for it. Not when you pre-plan, not when you've been trained by me. Okay? If I, as a level 99 player, can get all my tasks done in, 2 days? What reason does a level 24 player with a ton of gold tokens and all the same knowledge with half the items needed to hold on to, and the ability to basically do you don't have regional tasks, you don't have you don't have a lot of things in terms of setbacks. You guys should have an easier time. If I was level 24, I could blow through those tasks like no tomorrow. I mean, really, it should not take you guys 5 days to complete them. If it's taking you that long, then you're not moving at a steady pace. And that concludes the third part and topic of this video. And that is, what the hell are you people doing that is taking so damn long? For instance, yesterday, one of my trainees, I hadn't heard from him very much at all throughout the day. And so I thought that was a little strange. And I noticed that his points hadn't moved for I don't know, it was like a day or something. It wasn't a full day, but it was like 8 hours or something. And then I had looked back and I counted how many assignments he had completed in a day in 12 hours. And it was 4 assignments. And they weren't assignments that should have taken very long. It was some token production tasks, just petty shit. And I'm sitting there going, what the hell are you doing? Are you purposely dragging your feet to save tickets or something? I'm not understanding here. And I told him, I'm like, you got to pick up the pace here. I mean, war is about to end. And if you don't hurry the hell up, you're going to end up with your final day dragging your feet, and you're not going to be able to do any war tasks. What are you doing? And all of a sudden, he starts getting shit done. All of a sudden, it's like boom, 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 task after task after task. Now, it baffles me when I see how long it takes some people to get shit done. Okay? A lot of this stuff, it doesn't take that long. I mean, if you watch my streams, what are you people doing? You start a task, you look at the task, and you say, okay, I have a Tokyo delivery task. These are the items that I need. You go to your group, and you get it. You get it done. And if you can't find them ASAP, you damn well better start figuring it out. Okay? You don't sit there and twiddle your thumbs and go, yeah, once these 4 flower are done, then in 3 hours I'll have the sap and this and that, and I'll have all this stuff done in 6 hours, and then I'll be able to move on. No. You got to get things done. Okay? Then you get your new task, you move on to the next task. You know, if you need to, let's say you need like 15 nails for some stupid repair. Don't sit there and wait for 15 damn nails. Refresh what you need to do. Take the 30 seconds and watch the video and refresh the materials required. Okay? There's no reason for people to have it take them 8 hours to do 2 damn tasks, especially when they're not factory production. There's no reason why it should take anybody 8 days or 8 tasks in 24 hours. Yeah, 8 days. That's about what it takes people. But no, really though, I cannot tell you how many players I see barely able to clear 10 tasks a day. That's just unacceptable. And when I look back at the 10 tasks that they were, I mean, I'm sitting here going, what did they do? Prep feed after feed after feed? Like, what's going on here? You could have done feed 4 times by now. Like, what the hell is going on? And I see that people aren't, and it's not, oh, they have a life, and oh, they this. These people are on the game all the time. They're constantly on the game. And I'm just sitting here going, how are they not getting anything done? Because they're not making it a priority. And it's going to hurt you. You don't drag your feet and think that you have 5 days. Try to get things done as quickly as you can, as efficiently as you can. Now, normally I don't harp on people to go too quickly because I've noticed that what people will do is they think it's a race. And they worry more about how fast they put up the points versus how efficient. And so I've drilled it into people's heads that you need to make the right choice. But that doesn't mean you need to go as slow as molasses. Okay? I mean, you got to have a steady pace, which is why I always tell you guys, keep a steady pace or you will fail. You also, when you get to the last of your tickets, it's usually a good idea to hold about 3 tickets max, depending on the current situation with the leaderboard. If you're dealing with a hacker, you know, if the person's only putting up points when you're putting up points, then maybe hold your final ticket and knock them out the last 3 seconds, you know. But people think, well, I'm going to go ahead and pre-plan a final task, like 5 tasks ahead. Never do that. Never pre-plan your tasks to already automatically assume I'm saving that for last. No, you do the best option that's available to you at the time. You don't say, well, I know this is my best option, but I have this set aside for something else. That's foolish. You take the best option, you put up the highest amount of points that you can in the time remaining that you have, okay? You want to go as quickly as you can, efficiently as you can. Because what it really comes down to is this. If the person has assignments left, then they have assignments left. So people always think, well, I can save my tickets and what? What does that do for you? In terms of, that doesn't mean that they're not going to use all theirs and then you're going to have to match their score, right? So what it really comes down to is you need to put up the most amount of points as possible. And if you don't allow yourself enough time to do that, then that other person is going to beat you. It would be better. You can only do so many tasks, and you can only do as good as you can do. If you do as good as you can possibly do, and using all of your tickets, that's the best you can do. Now, if you need to hold one task to beat somebody at the end of the leaderboard, then so be it. But if you start being greedy with your tickets, trying to save 2 tasks or 3 tasks or whatever, you could really hurt yourself. Really, really hurt yourself. You know, I mean, a whole week's worth of work is not worth risking. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get this posted. Hopefully this helps you guys. Basically, what it comes down to, like I said, is you have to walk through everything. You're going to start at the top and you're just going to go, what does this do for me? What does this not do for me? How does this benefit me? You know, what am I opening up here? Because a lot of people only look at what they get out of it or whatever. They don't look at what can happen after the fact. Like, sure, okay, it gives me 1,600 points now, but if this damn thing comes back and it comes back worth more points, then what will my play be? Will I be forced to do it? And is that something I want to risk? Or is it, well, if it comes back worth a lower value, does that hurt me more than just leaving it sit here? You know, canceling. Is it worth canceling? A lot of people have a hard time knowing when to cancel upgrade tasks and how many. Now, there's been a lot of issues with upgrade tasks lately. They've been coming in worth a lot of points and they've been flooding the lists. People cancel one and they get like 2 tasks and they get it right back. Do not do that. If you have one main high point upgrade, fine, then cancel one. But if you have like a 2,000 upgrade, a 2,400 upgrade, a 3K upgrade, if you have more than 2 worth 2,000 points, then it's usually advised that you cancel one immediately after the other. No matter what you get after canceling one, you cancel the other. This usually resets the list into, okay, now they start giving you other stuff. But when you only do the one, it almost always comes back. Okay, so try that. If you end up in that situation, try not to cancel the Latin upgrade or the new town hub upgrades unless they're 3,000 or higher, as they can and will come back worth 3,000 or higher. All right, you guys, I'm going to go and get this uploaded. Hopefully this helps. Go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on a stream later on today.